and today we'll continue with Beyond the Ruins. I'm not entirely sure, but we might be able to finish this update off in this video. Maybe, but we'll just have to see. But at least that's what I think. That's what I'm thinking. We might be able to finish off the current update here. So before I continue, there's a few things I also want to mention from the last video. So I enjoyed the animation part we saw for Rick, who's the blue dragon, or at least he looks like a blue dragon. So kind of, I don't know, but anyway, it seems as though Rick might have had that same dream also, I think. And of Zeke and Victor talking about their past and how they grieved over this person named Hector, who they knew very well, were friends with, who died. Apparently, Zeke said that he got ripped apart by a monster, I believe. But anyway, both Victor and Zeke in this dream, I think, they argued over communication, and that Victor said that Zeke hadn't been all that social or forthcoming with, he hasn't been, standoffish, like he'd be pushing people away, and that Zeke said that's not true, and that is basically he has his own way of grieving. So he has his own way of grieving Hector's death. So I guess after that, both Zeke and Victor came to understanding and decided to, just settle for the fact that they grieved in different ways and just move on from the argument. Just focus on Hector. Grieving for Hector. So, like I said in the previous video, everybody, you could say that there's some kind of strain amongst the characters here, and they merely talk to each other in terms of survival, like how they're gonna get food and scrap and watch it out for monsters and stuff like that. But other than that, they don't really communicate, really not much. Everybody's doing their own thing, in their own separate rooms or separate spaces. So I'm gonna go ahead and continue. Well, maybe the final part. We may be able to finish off the update in this video today. I have no idea how long this is, because the last video, because on the first build I did 2 videos, but those were like 2 hours. Well, because those 2 videos I did, each one was an hour each. And I decided that with these videos, I decided to do some a little shorter. Make these videos a little shorter, so at least y'all don't have to wait as long for a video to come out with this new update. Because some other things to do, and if I go for an hour, you may have to wait 2 days. So by making these videos a little shorter, at least y'all can get some parts of the update each day. Instead of making it like an hour, I'll do it 40 minutes for each part. So that's what I've been doing. So basically I've covered an hour and a half so far for this story. So for this build. So if it's like 2 hours, then I guess there's 30 minutes left before we get to the end. But anyway, we're going to go ahead and continue. What was that? I think I need to do it. Let's resist and sleep it off. I lay down on my mattress and try to wash away my lust. I lay down, resting your mind, slowly delving into the darkness. Meanwhile, outside, Scott and Zeke are more in the farther vicinity of the base, hunting down wild creatures and gathering more resources. So, do you think this is enough? Yeah, that will suffice today. Then we should be good to go home. Yeah. Scott and Zeke, both covered in blood, hauled the hunted creature down to the river. The weight dragged between them, leaving a dark mark through the dirt. Shortly they reached the river. They dropped the creature into the saddles. The cold water churned around it, the current slowly washing away the blood and dirt from its skin. Well, now that that's dealt with, Scott's shirt has been stained by the monster's blood and dirt. I think it's best I should wash myself too. Go ahead, I'll guard the area. You should wash yourself too. Yeah. Both of them decided to wash off the dirt and blood sticking on their clothes. You wake up from your short nap. Your head feels a bit dizzy. Maybe you had overslept. Whatever it is, you now feel sluggish to move, but now too tired to sleep back. Groaning won't make you feel better, so you lay down there like a helpless bed potato. You stared at the ceiling and saw nothing but cracks and some moss. Instead of a monster that kills you, it's boredom, like a child in a tedious lesson. It's so boring to live here. Perhaps I was used to using my gadgets when I'm alone. Speaking of which, my folder. Yeah. No point in grieving on it now. You stared at the ceiling and saw cracks and moss. Boredom is hard to ignore. The silence of your room feels heavier by the minute. Yep, I'm standing up. I wonder what Krause is doing. Maybe I could chat or help him. You stood up and decided to head to the door lazily. You closed the door and went to Krause's workshop. You knock on the door, hoping to hear Krause. Who is it? Roger. Roger? The door opens, and there you see Krause. What are you doing here? To kill time. You're bored. Well, duh. Just thought you might be fun to talk to. Fine. Just don't touch the stuff because it's delicate. It's very delicate. You nodded your head and went to sit on a chair nearby. Krause pours a cup of water and hands you one. So, what is it you want to talk about? You want to learn how these guns work, or do you want to work with some guns? Kidding, you'll receive one after your training. You seem happy today. Was I not? Nah, just me and Matey found these good loots. We can finally have some bit of armor. Just need a furnace, and I'll be able to melt gold. The problem is, I'm not a blacksmith. Then why save a furnace? You know, we can find some dude who works with metals. I'm just a gunsmith. Dude who creates guns, but not the materials. Maybe someone out there. Let's hope so we can have armor. Why do we need armors, though? Won't that slow us down? We have guns, mate. We can just shoot them. We don't need any fancy dance fights to kill our foes. Plus, they bite painfully, so better to have some than not. I guess you're right. I don't blame you. You'll know when you're out in the fields. Speaking of which, also prep the parts for your gun. You'll be training shortly. Who's training me? It can be Zeke, Victor, or Scott, but most likely Boris. Boris. Oh, you'll see him once he gets home. I see. Man, you're all grown up. Considering you were skinny and sticks. Considering you were skinny as sticks when we found you. Please, I got fatter. Don't act like a father now. I wish I was, but I probably ain't raised a man. Nope. But stop sticking out your nose on somebody till I give you something close to your nose. Yeah, what is it? Almond rod. Bit stick. Get your footy ass out of my damn ear. Seriously, though, are you not straight? Personally, but frankly, yes, I'm not. I have a thing for pipe holes rather than slot machines, if you get me. Oh, you stretch slowly, walking out of the workshop. Well, see you, Klaus. I'll see you too, Roger. And no, I don't mean the other way. Yeah, whatever, sure. While I was walking down the hallways with a smile. I heard some metal clanking and walking nearby. I jolted by the sound. I was wondering what the ruckus was. Why, what, and who? Did Wilfred and his crew return? Or some unwanted people? I turned to the main hallways and immediately take a peek to see what's happening. I saw figures geared with weapons and bags. I don't recognize these people, but I saw Wilfred on the back with his companions, talking and celebrating about their adventures. I realized that these people might be the crew with Wilfred, Xavier, and Boris they've been mentioning about. For a moment they were laughing, but then I heard Wilfred saying, "Where's Roger? I need to see how he's doing. You lads gotta meet our new crew member." I went to sneak up on him, and I slowly approached him on his back. There he looked at me. His expression went from joyous to jubilant. Whoa. Laughter came as he hugged me and patted my back. You almost scared me there. How are you, Roger? You're grown fatter. I'm glad. Hey, Wilfred. It's still been a while. You were thin today. I first saw you. I'm glad you're safe. Also, look, come meet the others. He dragged me along to meet the others. That was met with a long-toothed tiger and a yellow wolf, one towering me and one at my height. Roger, this is Xavier. Xavier, this is Roger. Hello? So, you're the newbie, huh? Thought we weren't taking recruits anymore. Nice having you, Roger. He nodded. The yellow wolf crossed his arms, his voice gravelly. So, he's the one you've been missing. Wilfred smirked, nudging his shoulder. Yeah, look at him, all healthy and clueless. Maybe you should start training him, eh? He stared at you with a critical gaze, observing your physique. At least his physique is okay, but I'll see more of him in training. I'm gonna bounce. Need my papers kept. And I should be storing my items. Feed him well, Freddy. Who is he? His name is Boris. Former drill sergeant. Former military staff sergeant. He can be stoic and strict sometimes. He kind of sounds like Zeke. Oh, he's very different from Zeke. But with that topic aside, how are you feeling? I'm okay. We're glad to hear that you're well fed, even though the food here is not the best. I got used to it. We will have a delicious dinner soon. But when things get easier, we should have a proper dinner. Come on, just a little celebration won't hurt. You're right. Yeah, why not? I would love to see that. Why don't you visit my office earlier? After I grabbed some shut-eye, it's been too long since we really talked. Still with it, I'll make time for that. Sweet, catch you then, buddy. I waited as Wilfred headed off, but I couldn't shake this odd flutter in my chest. Maybe it's that I haven't seen Wilfred in a while, or maybe being around so many few, or maybe around so many new faces. I've never been good with strangers, but maybe that's exactly why I should try. Well, it's not bad to talk and introduce myself. Mm, they seem kind of stoic to me, you know. Especially Boris. I should introduce myself to them so we can get to know each other. It would be rude if I didn't. I figured introductions were in order. Staying silent would be rude. But first, I need information about this place. Victor had mentioned Xavier worked in the library. That seemed like the best place to start. I reached the door and knocked 3 times before speaking. Hello, Xavier. What do you need, kid? Just have some questions. Victor said you were the one to ask about how things work around here. The door creaks open, revealing Xavier standing before me. Though taller than me, he's noticeably leaner than the other crew members. Ah yes, come in and take a seat. I moved to a small table and sat down. Glancing around, I realized this isn't so much a library as an organized storage place. There's plastic containers stacked neatly, filled with carefully preserved documents. Why are the papers stored in ice boxes and plastic containers? Termites. Still pests. Some pests still survive here. Most likely there's clothing and paper, but the lilies keep their numbers in check by eating them. I'm still not taking any chances these containers protect our most vital resources. That's knowledge. Everything we document about survival, the writings, books, and records contain all the basic knowledge for survival and information of this vicinity and what's beyond on this island. Whoa, indeed. Well, I mostly wrote them. Guess that education course of mine paid off. Others have contributed their specialized knowledge too. So you're the archivist here? More than that, I'm the keeper and guardian of this information. You wouldn't mind if I asked a few questions so I can be enlightened for this place? Ask away. What would you like to learn about? Let me think. I was wondering where we are situated. Like, is there like a map? So let's start with some visuals. Currently, you're here at this dot. This is where we currently reside. Not the prettiest place to live right now, but we can survive. So we are in a large urban area. Yes, unfortunately, but a bit too far away from us are the fields. Wilfred plans to move here at winter, where the monsters are lesser. Stay there a bit in spring to gather some food and continue in summer. We will then go to the boat dock where we hope to find a boat. It's a long journey, but it's for the better of our crew. Well, that's Wilfred's plan. There will still be changes, but yeah, this the map. Old cities like Centauria. Whoa, even the largest cities didn't survive. Not even their defenses can protect them. That's how devastating the apocalypse is. Fortunately, we survive and have enough resources to live and even transport. Currently, we are at Oblam, a small city not too secure, but also not too threatening. We have higher chances of safety, especially if it's colder where these monsters mostly hibernate. So that's why there's not many monsters appearing. Very few. Rumor has it that they have variant species who do not hibernate in winter and in summer instead. No clue what species is that. We need to be careful. That's concerning. It's nothing to worry about if we avoid dark areas or have a lantern. I don't know why that's. Okay. Can I ask what happened? What happened before and during the apocalypse? Ah, well, it's a long story, but I'll summarize what happened during the apocalypse. I have here the footage of the disaster happening in real time. Unfortunately, it's stored here on this hard drive. I need a computer to show you the footage. Whoa. This hard drive alone This hard drive alone is important among these documents. It contains all the footage, videos, images, and news regarding the start of the apocalypse. I could just tell you the summary because the video is too long. Well, from what I can remember, the apocalypse started with a news report about a mysterious creature. Nobody knew what was the animal and assumed it was a new species of animal. Nobody knew it eats humans and multiplies. Then alarms came, warning about the monsters outside. EAS alarms went off, guns were hired, people screamed. At this point, a war was coming from the two cities, and a country decided to use it as a weapon, spreading it more. There was those mysterious microorganisms that were still unidentified and were parasitic. I have a theory that these mysterious monsters came from these unknown microorganisms and evolved. From my point of view, I heard this news and kept all the articles and theories on my hard drive. People have locked their houses and quarantine was deployed. Months passed by and things got worse. We ran out of food. We have to leave the house. Monsters were roaming and I lost someone dear to me. The city fell down and cities got invaded by these monsters that inhabited it. One by one, till it was only a wasteland. I met a few people and here we are in the present. I feel like a lot has happened since I passed out. It has, and left me wondering how old you were when you were before going in that chamber. I don't remember much, but from what I could tell, I got these papers from my school. So you're a student back then? There was no indicator where you were frozen. I was frozen for 1.5 decades. Things got more interesting. So you're in school, I assume. It's high school, I guess. Then you're somewhere 30 to 35 years old. I would be shocked if you're mentally 15 years old. Now, I remember I drank alcohol, so I should be at least 18. You're somewhere 38 to 30, 33 to 38. It was 1.5 decades. So I just aged, wasting my 15 years. Not really wasted. Your body somewhat slowed down, aging physically, so you could live a bit more from your expiration date. So does that mean I'll live among you guys? Congrats. I don't want that. I lean back in the creaky chair, rubbing my temples as the day's lessons swirl in my head. I think that's all I need to learn. That's too much for me to take. Glad you learned something. There's plenty more you can learn. These books won't read themselves. He stuffed his belongings back in the container. I'll definitely come by when I need to learn more. Maybe about the footage you learn. I'll definitely come back when I need to learn more. Maybe about the footage you mentioned. He wasted an ink-stained finger and warning. Don't make it a daily habit. Preservation work waits for no one, and neither do termites. Judging by that new hole near container 12. Now, excuse me, but I must work on documenting our trip. I stand up, chair scraping against the concrete floor. While after that, I'll bring snacks. That's time to wipe my way in. You waved off to Xavier and went to go back into hallways. The heavy door clicked shut behind me, its echo following me down the hallway. Who shall I visit? Maybe I should get familiar with Boris. If I could remember, he's the one in charge of training me, though I'm not sure where he is. I think they said his room was next to Victor's, maybe. I'll shuffle over to the door beside Victor's and give it a hesitant knock. Hello, Sir Boris? What do you want? The huge yellow wolf fills the doorway, arms crossed. I go. I introduce myself. I'm the new guy. Oh, his ears twist as he looks me up and down. Right, Boris. Guess the others already told you about me. If I look terrifying, good, keep it that way. Yes, sir. Drop the makes you sound unsure. Unsure gets you killed. Yes, sir. Better. Now, let's see if you can follow orders. Stand straight, chin up, eyes forward. Got it, sir. Name, Roger, sir. Drop these, sir. Boris is fine. I'm not your drill instructor. At least not yet. Well, alright, Boris. Better. So, Roger, huh? You look like you've been through the ringer. Ringer? It's an idiom. I'm telling you, look awfully tired. Oh, I'm still recovering. Your body needs to be healthy soon, so I can start giving you some basic training. I hope you're not as soft as Wilfred, because it's hell out there. It's not that terrifying, right? You just shoot there, right? Idiot, it's not a playground out there. I think I have to teach you a lot of lessons. That can be left on your training date. Go make yourself well rested and eaten. Yes, sir. Again, just Boris. I'll see you around. I'll see you too, Boris. I shuffled back down the hallway, rubbing my neck where the tension had settled. Well, that went about how I expected it. I was like a brick wall with fur, so I guess my training would be terrifying. Guess I better get moving. I made my way towards Wilfred's room. It's been a while since I saw Wilfred. Last time I saw him was when I gained consciousness. We used to catch up on things. I walked towards the room that was once empty. I knocked on his door and spoke. Hey, Wilfred. Roger. I immediately opened the door. The room smells like oil and dry herbs. He greets me. His smile radiated at me. Roger. Darn right. Look who's up and about. He wrapped his arm around neck, giving me a hug. We haven't talked for a while. You want to catch up on what we missed? So it's been a while since we talked. How are you, pal? You seem to be getting back in shape. I'm doing alright, I guess. I still feel a bit feeble, but I'm improving. Hey, progress is progress. He takes a loud slurp of his coffee before grimacing. Yeah, this tastes like burnt tires. Anyway, you're looking better. I mean, look at you now. Color in your cheeks and everything. Oh, please, it's barely been a week. You know how time works here. Every day feels like a week. Can't argue that. I've been just sleeping through most of it. Best way to fast forward time, plus keeps me well rested. Clever thinking, boy. Say, I was surprised you guys look so healthy despite, well, everything. We gotta eat something for survival, and one of those things is monster meat. Monster meat may be ugly as hell, but it's packed with protein and fat. It's just unhygienic, considering their diet consists of, well, us. Let's not go down that topic. Shit, sorry, didn't mean to. Now forget it. Just remember to boil everything twice, and never ask Xavier where he sources his special recipes. Thanks, Wilfred, for, well, everything. Huh, don't get all sappy on me now. Though I will say it's good seeing you fit in here. It's good seeing you fit in around here. They've all been, they've all been surprisingly welcoming. Xavier's been teaching me how to preserve documents. Victor shares his cooking tricks. Even Zeke has been getting softer with our interactions. Just don't tell him that. That's great to hear. We need to have cooperation and teamwork in these times. Yeah, I was curious though. Has anyone ever left the group before? Well, he rolls the back of his neck. There were two actually. Left about 8 months back. They didn't like how we were running things, and we thought we should be making different choices. It's a very political thing between us. You can't always have people agreeing with you. Regardless, I still hope they're alright out there. Mm-hmm. Let's not get emotional and talk about something else. Wilfred digs into his bag and grabbing something by hand. Look, I found something special. What is it? Another can of mystery meat? Wilfred pulls out a silver necklace. The pendant catching the light. Nope. Found this beauty while scavenging yesterday. Thought you might like it. Let me guess. You took this from some poor guy's cold, dead hands? I would have bought it back. Wait a minute. I would have bought it if we weren't in a situation. But when the world ends, finders keepers, right? Yeah, I guess pretty much illegal things are now legal here. Yeah, you're right. You want me to put it back? I could try to find where it came from. You know why you bought it here? I was messing with you. I fastened the necklace around my neck. How'd I look? You look great with that thing. Wilfred's smile falters as he stares at the necklace's pendant. Damn, you remind me of someone we used to have around here. Ooh, let's just say she left also. Oh, sorry to hear that. But she was the kindest, jolliest girl we had. She was also our medic till I took her place. I miss her laugh. Maybe you'll see her again someday. Yeah, someday. Anyway, enough old stories. Let's change topics. What about plans for our evacuation? Evacuation. The one from Xavier about that we were moving away from here? So Xavier haven't told you, right? What do you mean? Come have a seat. So remember these monsters? Yeah? They're mostly inactive during winter. I always heard that, but imagine. Hundreds of them. What? I heard of these monsters marching on their way to the north, and our base is one of their obstacles. We should be evacuating soon. I'd already told them my plan that we will move away in early winter. Yeah, I heard it from Victor earlier. So that means that we should be packing our things already. Well, not yet because I'm still working on your medicine with these herbs I found. Oh yeah, I forgot to ask what the herbs were for. They're immune boosters. Yeah. I have a hard time weeding today. For some reason. Sometimes I'm alright, sometimes I just can't weed. Well, these are oreganos. I'm squishing them and infusing them into olive oil. Oreganos are good for your immune system, especially if you have a weak one. Whoa. They should be good to rest. While that's simmering, I should tend to my plans. What kind of plans? Like assigning for the mall scavenge. Alright, I'll be talking with Rick. I will see you in a bit. We'll be having dinner later. Wilfred's hand lands heavily on my shoulder, patting me that he needs to work on something. Let's talk later. I need this plan solidified and discussed. Wilfred adjusts his gear belt with a metallic clink before heading down the dimly lit hallway. Take care. You sit up after Wilfred leaves and you close the door, leaving you in his room. Then you go over to your room. Before I leave the room, my eyes catch on something unexpected beneath the documents. I carefully lifted the manual to reveal surprisingly good cartoon versions of himself as well. Along with a person I'm not familiar with, I simply doodled this before they left. It looks cute though. Didn't expect Wilfred would make such silly little doodles. I lay down the documents before he sees me tinkering with his stuff. Yeah, he shouldn't be messing with his stuff. I leave the room as I close the door with a creaking sound. I hope we can have something better later for dinner. I don't know what I should do next, but I should prepare for our winter excavation soon. I return back to my room. My eyes go straight to the corner where I see an empty backpack. With a slow breath, I reach for the backpack the canvas worn thin for months of use, one item at a time. The half-empty water filtering bottle. 3 protein bars, expired but it works. Victor's knife, borrowed definitely. Some extra clothes, and a notebook that I found in the crate. This should be enough. Evacuation is not happening tomorrow anyway. The words come out slurred as an uncontrollable yawn stretches my jaw. I push the half-packed bag aside with my foot. I yawn as I fall down the mattress. I might lay down. I've been talking with a lot of people. The world dissolves into warm darkness. My boots still half on. The evacuation plans are already fading into darkness. I stretch to see how long I was out. My stiff neck protests as I lift my head, blinking against the thin moonlight. Beside me, Wilfred lies sprawled diagonally across my mattress. Hey, pal. His words slur together, the scent of homemade liquor wafting off him in waves. Wilfred, you okay? I'm fine. Just, if you don't mind. He gestures vaguely at my bunk. Can I crash here just for a bit? Sure, but why my room? Wilfred collapses on the edge of the mattress with a groan, nearly missing it entirely. Tired, and you missed dinner. He fumbles in his jacket pocket before giving a meat covered in foil. With clumsy care, he sets it beside me, a sad-looking piece of meat and some beans, but still warm. Figured you'd be hungry. Thanks, I appreciate it. You're getting big. Not scrawny, we found no more. He tries to push himself up, but only succeeds in flopping back down. Hey, stay here tonight. You're sure? If you're just tired, just sleep here. There's enough space. Well, Wilfred exhales like a deflating balloon as he sprawls across the mattress. Despite his best efforts to scoot over, his massive frame takes up most of the mattress. Wilfred is a huge man. His body quite occupies the mattress. Yeah, it's fine. There's still some room left to sleep. Floor's cold. You'll fall. I'll manage if you insist. Before I lay myself on the bed, I turn to my right and saw Wilfred sleeping already. In the dim light, I can just make out the dark circles under his eyes. Poor bastard must have been running himself ragged with evacuation plans. I lay down on the mattress as well and tried to occupy the space. There I was facing Wilfred, already sleeping with his mouth open. I assume it's midnight, and considering Wilfred came from a journey just by exhaustion for him. It must be exhausting for him. It sounds so kind of him to think a lot about my health. I don't get so over it. He may do it because it's his job. Looking at him with his silly drool makes him look adorable. I should sleep. And close your eyes, trying to move on from Wilfred, but his presence beside you makes it feel a bit more warmer. It feels like being covered in a warm blanket while being caressed on the head. It feels so intimate. It feels so comforting. It makes me all cozy. It feels so warm. The darkness envelops me in an embrace. Hatcher, yeah? When we retire from this military service, I hope that we can form a band. At such an age, we're not that old, come on. Whatever you say, bonehead. Hey, it's me, Zero, the author, artist, and creator of this visual novel. This project is self-made and self-learned that started in August 2023. This is the second build of this visual novel. This project is a tedious one. It took me months to fix a lot of bugs and repair some grammars from the first build. I made a lot of changes in this build, and there will be more subject to change. Thanks for reading the second build. More content and bug fixing will still be done. Please bear with me for future updates. You can give me a feedback on my Twitter and Instagram. It would be highly appreciated. Thanks for reading and support. Keep an eye out for more builds, for more updates. Keep an eye out for more future updates this world. Yeah. It's a little tired, so I'm feeling a little tired myself, for so. I'm feeling a little tired myself, like Wilfred is. I mean, that's why I kind of tripping over reading. I also made to the end, but there's still something I gotta go back to. Now, in the early videos, I picked Zeke. So, we never went back. I mean, we didn't get an opportunity to pick Zeke. We just went with Scott, and we can't continue on throughout the entire build up until just now. So, gotta visit Zeke and see how things will be if we pick Zeke. You climb the staircase. The damp air fills the stairways as you hear a sound from each step. You notice a faint rays of light from the spaces. It appears to mean it's sunset. You remember that Zeke doesn't like to be bothered on his work, though it's harmless to visit him once in a bit. Reaching the door to the rooftop, you knock before carefully pushing it open. There you see him, Zeke, face the edge of the building as he crosses his arm. There's an open cigar that rests Wow, people, it's 10 o'clock in the morning on Saturday. Anyway, reaching the door to the rooftop, you knocked before carefully pushing it open. There you see him, Zeke, face the edge of the building as he crosses his arm. There's an open cigar that rests between his fingers. He does not turn around or notice that you are there. Instead, takes another drag and blows the smoke out leisurely. Hi, Zeke. How's the work doing here? What do you want? Reaching the door to the rooftop, you knock before carefully pushing it open. There you see him, Zeke's face the edge of the building as he crosses his arm. There's an open cigar that rests between his fingers. He does not turn around or notice that you are there. Instead, takes another drag and blows the smoke out leisurely. Hi, Zeke. How's the work doing here? What do you want? Well, dinner's, it's just down there if you want to join. He flicks the ash off his cigarette and keeps his attention on the horizon. I'm good. I'll eat soon. You stay there a moment, uncertain as to whether you should leave him be, yet something in you can't bring yourself to turn around and leave. Rather, you take a step closer, grabbing a spot next to him. Well, if we do, we have some spices now. We're having salted steak. That would be nice. He's not angry like he used to be. He usually gets grumpy if I get to the rooftop, but this time he is silent. You're not angry? I am. Sorry. Yeah, now leave. Thinking about leaving, but let's see what happens if we decide to stay and talk. But I prefer to leave, but I'm just going to pick this choice just to see what happens. Wait, I want to talk about Wilfred. I want to know if you have any idea where he went or any updates you have from him. Why? Well, I'm just concerned, and he's just been missing for days. Zeke didn't turn immediately, instead staring out at the ruins. You acting like he didn't tell you this. He told us he'd be out. Yeah, but 3 days? I mean, even if he's got Boris and Xavier with him, what if something went wrong? What if Zeke exhaled sharply and turned his usual scowl, softening slightly when his eyes landed on your pale face, I guess. He crossed his arms, leaning back against the railing. Don't assume things of them, especially if you don't know the person you're assuming to. Wilfred's not stupid. He wouldn't take unnecessary risks, and surely not Boris or Xavier. I just feel like it's not. I just feel like it's my fault. They're out there because of me. I didn't ask them to, but he didn't ask to. Wilfred doesn't do things he doesn't want to do. If he thinks getting these herbs is what's gonna help you, then that's his call, not yours. I still feel bad. I don't want anyone getting hurt because of me. Look, I get it. You've been through a lot. Woke up in this awful world. This place isn't exactly built for peace of mind. Stop thinking you're a brother to them, alright? They chose to do this. Why, I'm sorry. You think they'll be okay? Yeah, Wilfred knows how to handle himself. Boys and Xavier do too. They'll be back. Let's see. You got any more questions to ask? Well, you've been quiet earlier and more softer. Usually you will shout and scold me for trespassing on you. I leaned over and started out over the jagged city skyline. Cling, 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 I heard on the cold metal railing. As he tapped them, for a moment you thought he wouldn't answer at all. Finally, Zeke sighed, his voice low and steady, like he was forcing himself to speak, reminded me of something I try not to think about too much. What do you mean? Zeke stayed silent for a few beats, his jaw tight. Then he spoke, his words slow and deliberate, as if pulling each one out hurt. Years ago, I was out on the run with a friend, good guy, someone I trusted, which doesn't happen much for me. Things went bad, real bad. We were overwhelmed, split up, and he didn't make it back. Not that day, not ever. I'm sorry. Don't be, that's just how things are. You lose people. What stings isn't losing him. It's what came after, me, Victor, and Scott. We were close back then, almost like a real crew. But after that, things changed. What do you mean by changed? We didn't handle it well. We all blame ourselves in different ways. Stop talking about it. Stop talking about a lot of things. Victor buried himself in logistics. Scott, he got bitter. And me, well, you met me. Yes, I became the guy who keeps his walls up and doesn't waste time on things that don't matter anymore. That's why you were quiet. You were thinking about them. Yeah. You took a drag and smoked off. You should go take your dinner. We can talk later. I'll see you then. You open the door and descended downstairs. With nothing much to do, you plan on checking out Scott before stepping down to the hallways. I should take a visit to Scott and also call him for dinner. I wonder if he's on his spot today. You stood up, brushing the dust off your hands, and stretched yourself. I think that's about everything. Because, well, I press skip. We're skipping everything. There's no new dialogue or anything or new scenes. Okay, I guess that's everything for this update. Alright, so we did get to finish this update in this video. So anyway, we got to meet two new characters. One's like a saber-toothed tiger, and the other is like a big muscular wolf. Typical, of wolves to be. Anyway, so Xavier, he's very knowledgeable and about the past, and he showed Roger a map of where they're going. So that's basically that basically is what this story is going to be, like the journey to a safer place. So they're not going to stay in this place forever. Like in a few days, I think they're going to leave and go to a safer spot where there's less monsters, and they're going to be traveling in the distance. So Xavier also has information and video footage of the apocalypse as it's happening, or as it happened. So that'll be good to see. So these monsters were originally microorganisms, but they grew to be huge. So yeah, they were able to rampage different cities, and after this apocalypse, these monsters, they were able to rampage cities, so it made things even worse for the people who did survive the apocalypse. Because not only do they have to survive and get accommodated with everything in ruins, but they gotta watch out for these monsters. So we got to see the other new character, that drill sergeant. He was in the military as a drill sergeant. He certainly acted like a drill sergeant. Getting kind of, he got a little testy, and that's kind of what you expect of a drill sergeant. Just no BS behavior. So yeah, he's probably gonna be the guy who helps train Roger. So yeah, it's gonna be. Walter's gonna have a rough time with him. so it seems as though Zeke and Walter, I think. Wait, no, wait, Zeke and Scott, I think both of them were in the military, and that they wanted to start their own band once they left the military, once their military days were over. So I think a lot of these people here are like military men, and they're very knowledgeable in combat and putting weapons together. So, yeah, apparently the creator has a thing for huge buff guys in tank tops wearing chains. Yeah, so I really enjoyed looking at all the the CGs. This update had plenty of CGs in them, and it gave you a better idea of what's actually happening or what have happened. So like with the past, with the certain characters, it really helped in telling the story differently than just text on the bottom of the screen. You basically got to see how the characters were feeling and in the environment they were in. Like them just looking out into the distance and leaning on the gates or the walls and stuff like that. That helps a lot too. So that's what I liked about this new update. There were plenty of CGs, and they're very good CGs too. They're really nice and well drawn, well made. So that's what I like about this story here. Now, the creator did address, all the bugs and the grammar errors and spelling errors. Once it got to the end of the update, and he was going to work on that. And he also worked on that in the first build. So yeah, so like I just said, we met two characters and we got to learn more about the world and the plans going ahead. So this build accomplished a lot. So it's all got safer now. I mean, we got to see a different side of Zeke. Him. He's certainly not this stoic individual. Like, he is also somebody who has felt pain. He's lost people that he held dear, and that he's grieving, and that something happened, and which caused everybody to, just separate and not really, they distance from each other and they're not really talking that much. So apparently these guys used to be very close and jovial, but of course that's not the same. And you could tell in these past couple builds that most of the characters just stay to themselves. Basically, they only talk to each other when they plan for going out on missions and getting scrap and fighting monsters, but they only discuss having survived. But other than that, they don't talk to each other. So that's all I have to say for this new build. Now, I mean, it's been like 7 months since the first build, so there probably won't be another build till late this year, like maybe November or December, or maybe even next January. But anyway, looking forward to the next build. So thank you all very much for watching. Goodbye.